Today, I want to talk about overcoming negative beliefs. And this is not always easy to talk about because you cannot overcome negative beliefs by using belief. You overcome negative beliefs by living the experiences that they render. So a negative belief is a way of calling forth a reality that scares the shit out of you. And when you live through it, you'll understand how to overcome a negative belief, which is to live through your worst nightmares. So, if you're interested in learning how to overcome negative beliefs, be ready for the experiences you'll encounter. Stick around. A belief is a story. And in many ways, a faith journey is a story. So, you could say that you're painting an image of something that scares you if you have a negative belief. And if you focus on that negative belief, you will see it become what seems to be your reality. But it is only to teach you one thing, that not only can you endure it, but you can overcome it. So the secret to overcoming the so-called world, as Jesus talked about, be of good cheer, have overcome the world, is that he overcame everything he foresaw, including his own crucifixion, which you could say, well, he brought it upon himself. Well, welcome to the world of karma. You bring it upon yourself, and this is what liberates you from suffering, is knowing in many ways what you think about, what scares you, what spins around in your mind is being called forth. Regardless of how you look at faith or doubt, you are projecting yourself into a future timeline. So negative beliefs are, I'm not good enough, I don't have the resources, I need more materials, I need more tools, I need more resources, I need more money, I need more this before I can do whatever. So, you could say that resonating emotion exudes from you, and you keep seeing it. That's why a lot of people date the same person over and over again and can't figure out why they can't find the one. Or they see repeated patterns over and over and over in their lives because basically they keep scaring themselves with negative beliefs. The world is dangerous is a great way to call forth that experience. The world is crazy. That's a conventional way of seeing things. So, faith is often painted as a picture of knowing that you know that you know. Knowing in your heart of hearts that this is your destiny. And negative beliefs are also our destiny. You just have to stop scaring yourself, I suppose. And I don't know how that happens until one realizes that they are painting a picture of the future by how they feel and think and act in the present moment. You are bringing this upon yourself, and we know that. And it's not easy to just stop cold turkey. Negative beliefs tend to have this momentum that by the time you recognize how negative you've been feeling or thinking about something, you've overwhelmed yourself in a reality that seems too hard to escape from. But that is part of overcoming the world, is overcoming negative beliefs. But you can't do it with affirmations, you see. You can't change who you are by lying to yourself. You change who you are by confronting or I don't say confronting, but by experiencing yourself. By calling forth realities and proving you're greater than that. That's what overcoming a belief. I'm greater than my negative beliefs, but I'm going to have to live through the picture I'm painting. I'm going to have to sleep in the bed I'm making. I'm going to have to reap what I am sowing. But a lot of us are trying to escape negative beliefs with more beliefs, and you can't. This is about getting out of the conceptual world altogether and getting into the non-conceptual or the unmanifested, where there's not a whole lot of thinking at all by way of image and words and story. And the best way to do that is to practice what Gandhi talked about, and that's losing yourself in the service of others. That's developing a growth mindset of community building. It's developing a mindset that the needs of the group outweigh your own. And negative beliefs come from a perception that the needs of the individual outweigh the group. So it's getting more into group dynamics. And the best way to understand group dynamics is to think about maybe a time in your life where you sang in a choir or played on a team, played in an orchestra, or did any kind of synchronistic group effort. Like a flock of birds, sort of all of a sudden just developing a singular consciousness, and you've seen those remarkable displays of flocks of birds which seem to act as one, or schools of fishes which all of a sudden develop a resonant consciousness which envelops the whole group and becomes a orchestrated organism of one. Swarm of bees, colony of ants. Even though you are on your own team at this moment, maybe you're not on a team or in a group dynamic, you can develop a group dynamic mindset. It seems to be that if you overly emphasize the stuff you need, and we all need stuff, we got to make a living, got to support ourselves on an earthly level, the more that you try to control and make that happen, the less likely it is to happen. But when you develop the group dynamics and the dynamism and the power of losing yourself in others, this sounds cliche, but there's no I in the word team. It's this idea that everybody on the planet gets to win, gets to be successful, gets to be healthy, gets to have what they want. And you must adopt that mindset. My friend Lucas says, I want to know what you want so I can help you get it. And so this is where it becomes very important that others promote you when you do something right. Others cheer you on when you begin to garner some success. And in many ways, others fight your battle when you are being wrongfully attacked. But you won't feel that way. You won't take it personally. Other people will come to your aid, you see. So this idea of, losing yourself in the service of others is the way Gandhi put this, but Jesus put it very plainly, turn the other cheek. A lot of us think that turning the other cheek is the philosophy of if someone starts to bully you, you walk away from it. No, that's not it. Turning the other cheek is an admission that reality is self-effacing, meaning if you try to directly fix your circumstances, you can't do it. The path to individual success is an indirect path. The path to financial success, the path to wealth, the path to success, the path to any kind of individual achievement is deflected in an indirect way by becoming more attuned to the group dynamic. I used to teach choir. I was a choir director for many, many years. And the most frustrating thing about being the choir director was making sure everybody put their bags at the door, if you know what I mean. The soloist, the individual, the special case, the voices that stick out, the people that don't cooperate, the people that don't surrender to the higher mission of making music. Those were the troublemakers. They were too self-serving to understand, hey, you have to put that aside for the greater need. Your needs will be provided for if your focus is on the greater need. How do we do this? Every time you go to the store, buy for a stranger. Get a bin in your house or a box and buy something that you would enjoy. Buy two and put it in the bin, and once a month bring it to a place where they help people out. You don't want to be in a situation where you need help. If you get in a situation where you need help, you've had negative beliefs about people who get in trouble. You had negative beliefs about people who are lazy, who should go out and get a job. So your negative beliefs about people messing you up or being too slow, whatever, that's all going to keep perpetuating itself until you get into the mindset of group dynamics. You're going to be in that helpless situation if you think people are helpless. If you have a negative mindset or a belief about anything or anyone, you are going to somehow live through that reality. Until you become self-effacing, until you start losing yourself in the service of others, then, and only then, will you indirectly make money, you will indirectly make friends, you will indirectly meet the love of your life, you will indirectly create a business. So all this will be like on accident. In the same way that Forrest Gump became successful on accident. He didn't know how to serve himself. He didn't even know how to make himself into an object. Special needs. I know I'm talking about a fictional character, but he represented the Christ-like or the Buddha-like principles where we lose ourselves in the service of others because we have no capacity to think of ourselves as the object of special need. We are the eternal subject. So it's inherently, you see, we're needless and heedless and headless. And so when you try to help yourself, you don't really help yourself because you're not in need. But serving others, helping them get what they want, helping them developing a growth mindset, helping them develop skills, businesses, helping them get themselves out of hot water. That will indirectly fix your circumstance. So, negative beliefs are self-centered beliefs that others are a problem, your circumstances are a problem, and you are just completely focused on yourself and fixing your problems and fixing your stuff, getting everything right. It accentuates the individual, and you will live through those experiences until you realize, turn the other cheek, lose yourself in the service of others. Ask people what they want so you can help them get it, and enjoy doing that. I was scared to be single. I had a negative belief about being single. And guess what? Big old fat divorce came to me. Horrible, horrible thing. I had negative beliefs about people who went broke. And guess what? I went broke. Negative, horrible to not know where your next meal is going to come from. And so when you overcome negative beliefs, you realize you're just too focused on yourself. And the more you do that, the more of these horrible experiences you'll live through until you realize you can't fix yourself, but that your purpose in life is to serve. Right? Service of others has to be your priority. And you have to lose yourself and enjoy that. Even when I was conducting choirs, I conducted, but I lost myself too, you see. I lost all my baggage when I was conducting. The music was just, I was part of the flock of birds. I wasn't really, the music started to take over. And I wasn't really controlling it. I was responding to it. I wasn't leading it, or I wasn't forcing it. So even the conductor of an orchestra is part of the flock. So if you lead an organization, you're also part of the movement of one. The leader has to be the most self-effacing. And that's difficult because they look at you as if you are the leader, but you're not. You're trying to get everyone to self-efface. Trying to get everybody to get into the mission of making this a transcendent experience, which means uplifting people, getting them out of their circumstances and onto helping others. So the limelight is, look at me. It's like taking a selfie. But what I call the sublime light is always looking out this way to be service and help to others. And that's what it means to lose yourself in the service of others. You become the eternal subject, not the object of attention. You become the center of attentiveness, not the center of attention. Look at me. You see the difference? So you're turning the other cheek. You're turning towards love, no matter what, even if you're called an idiot or strung up on a cross, right? It's what you know to be your true purposeful mission. And you never knew that having a negative belief was self-centered. And the way to relieve yourself is to relieve others who are imprisoned by their own negative beliefs. You self-efface it, and it vanishes. My name is Ryan Hebert. I do hope you enjoyed these insights. And if you did, please check out my blog or one of my books on Amazon. And we'll see you guys next time.